resellers. I've worked with quite a few. My resellers Go Engineer, and they're amazing, and they're in Pontiac and super close to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I run it with many different types of programs. So I've run it with, you know, Fisher Unitech, now CATI. We gave away 50 robots and 50 Solidworks Education Edition licenses.
Cool. Hey, we're back here at Solidworks Live in the 3D Experience Playground at 3D Experience World 2020. I am joined this afternoon with Danielle Boyer and Dakshesh Daruri with Every Kid Gets a Robot. We are super excited to have you here.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't want to say it, but I think you're probably the youngest guest we've ever had on this stream.
Dakshesh would be for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 17.
17, you're 19, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And you are a young entrepreneur. Like, you are really doing something amazing. So you're here at 3D Experience World doing what? Tell the audience at home what we're doing in the 3D Experience for Good.
So at the 3D Experience for Good, we've been assembling 150 robots to go to kids for free. Every Kid Gets a Robot is a robot that costs less than $20 and goes to kids for free. It teaches them vital engineering skills in electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, and computer science. And it is a really accessible way to bring STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math education to everyone. And I can't believe we're making 150. That is absolutely insane. And 50% of the organizations are Indigenous organizations, so I'm super honored to be able to play a role in that.
Right.
So, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So the robots we're actually taking from here, we're going to distribute them to 6 organizations throughout America. One is in Wisconsin with the Girl Scouts, and another one is like various STEM labs, STEM programs, and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So how does somebody as young as you decide you want to make robots at low to no cost for these organizations?
I think it all started when I was about 10 years old, and I saw a lot of STEAM interest in my community, but not a lot of options. I was homeschooled, so there were a lot of sports options, but not necessarily a lot of STEAM options. So I taught my first animal science class when I was 10 years old, and I started my first robotics team when I was 11 for my sister. Yeah.
So you were your sister's mentor for her robotics team?
Yeah, I started the team. I helped find mentors. I helped find funding, all that different type of stuff, and it was amazing.
I think I was playing baseball when I was that age.
See, that's why I want to provide alternatives to sports,
absolutely
you know,
right.
in STEAM. It's amazing. And then I ended up joining a first robotics team, and I was introduced more and more to robotics and realized just how expensive educational kits are, often costing an upward of $400, $500. And I was like, that's insurmountable to so many communities, especially that I work in Detroit, Saginaw, Pontiac, you know, Indigenous communities. I was like, that's not fair. I have to create a solution. So this costs $18.95. It includes the filament and the battery. So that's pretty cool.
So tell me about how we're having these made. You had just mentioned something that somebody 3D printed a lot of the parts for you prior to coming here, right?
4 3D printed components. It has an ESP32 development board, which is Wi-Fi and Bluetooth compatible and costs less than $3. 2 DC motors. Everything fits onto one chassis, and we work with grades K through 12.
Right.
It's amazing.
Very cool.
Additionally, she holds a bunch of classes with the public speaking, all that, and she holds a bunch of classes assembling the EKGAR, so they can get all aspects of STEM, mechanical, electrical, and then coding as well. And then she also uses Solidworks app for kids, and so she can teach the young kids about like prosthetics and stuff like that, and they do their own mini like crazy creations like prosthetic arm or leg.
Yeah, it's so
really
cool.
Fun. Yeah.
I ran 20 classes in January. I've been taking time off school, so I was like, well, I'm going to make the most of it. So I taught 20 classes, and I assembled the robotics kits, which took a good portion of that because I had to hand solder about 170 motor controllers. So I was like, oh.
So you've got people here at 3D Experience World, though, helping you put together 150 of these devices, correct?
Yes.
And you do these as kind of classes or clinics outside of this event as well, local in your area. You said you've worked with your Solidworks reseller to help you with this. Tell me, I mean, I understand that these robotics are great educational tools for the kids' hands that they fall in, but I have to imagine sitting in on your workshop building these is also an educational experience for the adults who are helping participate in that, right? You have any stories like where maybe you've opened some eyes to get other people involved in the community?
Well, I work really hard to educate educators as much as I can. I provide a lot of content on my educational blog, on the lesson plans that I have in depth, you know, my learning objectives for the kids, the exact resources that I use, pictures of their projects, videos of what they're doing.
And where can we find some information
at
about
my
that?
website, www.steamconnection.org.
Okay, I think we're going to pull that website up on the stream. It'll be up there while we're chatting. So.
And it means a lot to me to be able to provide opportunities to educators. And I think when educators and adults alike see what I'm doing, they're inspired to bring even more accessible resources into their own community, which is what I really want to do. That's one of my goals.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, you're coming into into the education environment, still as a student somewhat yourself, but encouraging educators to get involved in STEAM. I mean, you told me a little bit about how you saw a need for this. What got you interested in STEAM specifically?
Well, first it started with my sister and seeing what she was interested in. But honestly, it started when I was even younger, and I used to take the fasteners out of all the furniture in the house, and it still stuck together right, and then my parents would stand on it, and it would collapse, and I'd be like, So that was one of the starts to the STEAM education, and kind of what I was interested in. And I would design little Lego cars, little RC cars, all the different type of stuff. I've always been interested in it. I tried decorating a live circuit once when I was a kid with metal.
Decorating it?
Yeah, with a metal piece. I shocked myself, and you know, I've always been very interested. My dad's an electrical engineer, so I've grown up around some of that, like wrapping myself in electrical tape, like, ooh, what's this? And I don't know, it's gone from there. I've seen it always as something that I just want to keep on learning progressively, because it's endless learning, and that's why I'm double majoring in mechanical and electrical, because both are so awesome.
Yeah. Dakshesh, tell us how you got involved with Danielle.
So we actually met on my robotics team, and she was in her senior year, I was in my sophomore year, and we kind of just connected. And she started doing her own business team. She set up for the robotics team, we have various competitions, right? And business is one aspect. So she started the initial business team for our entire team.
Yep.
And then I started getting involved, and last year, in last year's summer, she approached me and she's like, "Hey, I'm starting a STEAM connection, and do you want to join? It's like teach classes and stuff like that." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, of course." And last year we were teaching classes. At this point, we were starting to assemble EKGAR, and then after that, we applied to present last year at Solidworks Worlds. And then we got in, and that's where it kicked off from there.
We presented together. It was so cool. We got to talk about the robotics, and we got to talk about FIRST Robotics and our community and why we love doing what we do.
Well, we love what you're doing. We think it's amazing. That's why we wanted to have you here on Solidworks Live. For the folks who are at home, they can, if they go to your website, steamconnection.org, can they learn how to connect with you, get involved, whether it's doing a build session or donating in some other ways?
I also have online access where people can download the CADs, the bill of materials, everything to be able to get their own robotics program started in their community.
And you said this should cost a typical student around what, $18
$18.95. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I know you guys have another session coming up where you're probably going to build another, I don't know, 70-some robots or something in each session here.
That's the goal.
So I don't want to keep you held up. I want to thank you so much for joining us here on SolidWorks Live at 3D Experience World.
It's been awesome.
Thank you
it's been
so
great.
much.
Stay tuned. In just a minute, we're going to be joined by Dean Kamen. We're going to talk a little bit about innovation and some of the great things that he's been up to.